Good afternoon, everybody.
No horses died at the Grand National.
I know, that's so brilliant. Has a horse always died then?
I think every year one ends up being
Really?
put down or shot. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Grand National. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it? I think to be fair, the Grand National, the organisers of it, they've gone to great lengths to try and prevent any. I think all horses finished. It's weird, isn't it? Because one of the things that I remember my family being excited about, which is awful, and they were into horses, my mum was, which horses fell and which horses didn't.
Yeah, that's all part of it, wasn't it?
So anyway.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Coffee Moaners on podcast and here on YouTube. Hope you're well.
Oh,
something insane happened. It was like a nice sunny morning. Now it is Armageddon out there. So we say, welcome, let's get cozy.
We say welcome to hell.
Welcome, let's get cozy.
Welcome to hell.
So we've got a real mixture of things to talk about today.
World War III.
World War III, the potential of it. The first school with no teachers, but every single child has their own.
I was surprised by you on this. You're going to be surprised by Nadia's thoughts on this.
Kids who shouldn't say please and thank you. A mother believes that you shouldn't be driving that home to kids, that there's a different way to do it. She never tells her child to say please or thank you. And also train etiquette. Have we got the picture of that?
No, I didn't see a picture. Sorry, if you can find it, send it to me.
Okay.
And I can.
Oh, it was not. If it wasn't on that link, then there was.
Yeah, train etiquette. What is that all about? Kind of like putting feet up, being on the phone.
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
So first of all, let's start with the weekend, the events of the weekend. Now, I know Mark went live at the point where we really we're very scared actually that things were going to majorly kick off right across the Middle Eastern region. I have to say, when we heard that Jordan had shut down their airspace, which many of you know, my father's Jordanian. My mum and dad have been out there for months, and they only came back last week. So we had this really weird moment where we were like, oh my God, thank God my parents are back. But then, of course, oh my God, all the family that is out there and family that is here, worrying about family out there. So it was a really, really horrible night.
It was a genuinely
and I felt
nerve-wracking.
Really sad in all sorts of different ways, because also there were videos of Palestinians like celebrating the street, thinking that they were going to be saved and the horror was going to be stopped. And it was just a very, very weird night. Was it Saturday night? Yeah, Saturday night.
It was an incredibly complicated.
It was quite late, so I think a lot of people might have missed it actually.
Yeah, we did go live just to kind of unpack some of it. I mean, Teresa Hutchinson, you're right to talk. I mean, it struck me on the evening. What am I trying to say? It struck me on the evening how, relative to how long your parents have been back out in Jordan, and how recently they'd come back, they literally by a hair's breadth. And of course, Jordan wasn't.
They went out there a week after October the 7th. They had their tickets booked, didn't they, before October the 7th?
We'll unpack for those of you who perhaps don't know the intricacies of it. It's not going to be a huge history lesson, but we will unpack some of the aspects of it. I do want to just quickly say, because I know we have so many Australian followers here, and I also had a message, bless you, Christopher, if you're here, you might Christopher Cundall, you were caught very close to this, because I rereading what you'd said in more detail, I realized that you say you were in the shops, you were there just before it happened or around the time.
The actual shop.
Yeah, and your pharmacy, and so. For anyone in Sydney, this stabbing, this tragic stabbing, and all sorts of stories emanating out. I think it was a.
So So just in case somebody missed it.
Well, this was in Westfield, I believe, in Sydney, wasn't it? And a guy was stabbing. I think it was principally women. There were sort of first and second-hand testimonies are coming out of a mother. We talked about it yesterday on the Sunday show. A mother handed her child to someone else just before she got stabbed to protect her child, and the child was saved. A female police officer ended up shooting the
assailant.
The what?
Assailant.
The assailant. Yeah, I thought you said the saint. No. I was thinking, oh my God. And one of the other more tragic things was I think one of the police officers who was called and activated to respond discovered that his fiancée was one of the victims.
God.
And I just wanted a shout out to everyone in Sydney. This is such a stupid thing I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. We all have our own sort of perceptions, don't we, of places we've visited in the world, or a sense of a place. And our sense, we often talk in this household a lot about what a really nice feeling we got and how much we enjoyed. Obviously, we were there filming, we had a different experience to, but our sense of Sydney is a very...
You felt very safe there.
Safe, breezy, and of course, there's all sorts. Every city, major city, has all the same problems.
Even a sleepy village.
Yeah,
I mean, there is nowhere that is totally safe, and there never has been in the world, and there never will be. But it's still always a shock, isn't it, when you've got an idea of a place?
And I just want all of our Australian followers to know that, wow, yes, we saw this, we heard this, we felt this. We can see that it's affected a number of people very closely. I've reached out, Christopher. I hope you're okay. I've reached out, and I'm sure you're in some mild state of shock, or not mild state of shock, because it's incredibly close to home. So anyway, I would like also to say, just tangentially off the side of that, there were some attempts by certain individuals in the mainstream media here, presenters and what have you, to try and conflate this tragedy and describe it as a terrorist attack, and then use it to double down on their criticism of marchers and pro-Palestinian or free Palestinian protesters here. This conflation was absolutely hideous by a certain person who should be better with numbers. The idea of just randomly and wantonly just kind of claiming that this awful tragedy and sort of almost hijacking it and twisting and turning it for some advantage in this awful situation that we've got ongoing in Gaza was absolutely reprehensible, infinitely more, infinitely just amoral and immoral in a manner that I can't think of too many other people in the public eye actually expressing opinions. It was just wrong. It was wrong. As I understand it, they've apologized, but I'm curious to know how much of an apology that really is. I just wanted to say that. I just think it's absolutely unforgivable. For those of you who can do the detective work, you can work it out. So anyway, all our thoughts go out to everyone in Sydney and Australia.
An extra big hug for you, Christopher.
Absolutely. So going back to Iran, it was a dramatic moment on Saturday night, and then quite quickly, I was quite pleased. We kind of hesitated for about half an hour. Nadia was in a very sort of difficult place because, of course, there was the sense that, of course, all of Teddy's, your father's family are out there, and it was very, very, concerning because we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. And this was Iran's sending of various...
When you think that my mum and dad, who are back now, they were literally 10 minutes to the West Bank, just literally cross over a bridge. There's a bridge. You can get over to the West Bank. And I think I went into a bit of a oh my God, they could have been. They're not there, but it was like, I just, so again, we got a millionth, a scintilla, not even that, like a breath, like nothing compared to actually how Palestinians have been living for the last 6 months, well, and decades before that, but that kind of that level of like, oh my God, like no idea what was going to happen next. But yes, I mean, of course, Iran has the most despicable of governments that have been making their people's lives a misery for far too long. But I do actually think that it was quite a clever game they played, wasn't it?
Well, I think everyone is. We discussed in the live. Do check out our live on the night, because really, as I say, we sort of did it late enough to kind of begin to sort of feel what the kind of reality of the situation was. Yes, it was dangerous. Yes, it was a ratcheting up. Yes, every nation in the world was suddenly saying this could inflame and spark a kind of wider, bigger conflict. I think looking at it all now, the whole thing feels like it was very stage managed. Iran needed to save face.
They said they'd given warning days before that it was going to happen.
They'd notified
America
the
knew
US,
exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah. And the US, by all accounts, the rumor mill is this chat coming out of the White House that the White House even said, make sure you don't hit critical target. I mean, this is the extent to which this game of diplomatic chess that
they had to be able to do something, because although Israel have always denied it, the Israeli government have always denied it. This bombing of the Israeli consulate in Syria is, you bomb a consulate, you're bombing the country. So Iran then came back with, we've done this, right, that's enough. anything else happens,
Now-
we had to retaliate.
Yeah.
You know, due to the
Now,
rules
look-
and regulations.
Now, look, the whole thing out
Scary.
there is an incredibly complex hornet's nest. Israel very reasonably. Israel will say, "Well, hang on a minute. We hit the consulate in Damascus. Iran has been hitting, you could argue, Israel through all of the proxies in Hezbollah and funding Hamas and what have you. The problem with all of this is that everyone is propping everyone else up, what the West and Israel are trying to pretend is that everyone else is guilty of this and they're not. And it's just not the case. So no one is sitting there. No one is in any way sitting, even as a critic of Israel, saying, "Oh, yippee! Iran showed what for and demonstrated strength." That all of this is reprehensible. Yeah. All of this complicates things, and all of this totally ignores the plight of the Palestinians in Gaza. And I have to say, on the night in question and on the day in question, in the run-up, the increasing plight of Palestinians in the West Bank, which is becoming more and more hideous as time goes by.
And for the Israeli population that just don't want this.
Yes.
And all it's big boys playing their war games. Yeah. Well, who are usually the most impacted? Poor people, people that have no way of having any effect on any of this. So that's what always breaks my heart right across.
So what I would say is World War III is not going to happen. It is all pivotal on what Israel does next. I don't think Israel
is saying they're going to go back. That's what they were saying, but I don't think America will let them.
They're not. No. Well, Israel.
Because then we got war right across.
Well, America have directly stated that if Israel hit Iran directly, America are not going to get involved in the offensive.
That's big.
Yeah. So it's all strategic. It's all stage managed. It's about Iran not losing face. Israel now has to do the same thing and say, we won't take this.
All the boys need to go back in the classroom.
They've all got their knives out in Israel and they're all going
into the classroom and settle down.
I think collateral damage, I would have to stress, I think some of the collateral damage in this whole conflagration is that Jordan finds them, it's revealed Jordan, the country, to be in a very compromised position and in a very difficult position where they're squeezed between the demands and the support, in essence, of America too, and the fact that they know that, as we were talking to Teddy today, they know that they're infinitely weaker than Israel.
They don't want war with
Israel. They don't want war with Israel.
Like my dad said, they just need to come across the bridge. That's what he said to us this morning.
He said they need just two tanks.
They get a couple of tanks and they come across the bridge. And Jordan doesn't want a war with it. He said, that Jordan is very, very weakened by through America and through Israel. So basically, I said, are you saying now that Israel and America have done this fantastic job of bullying all that region, America paying huge amounts of money to support the economies and keep as my dad says, keep people happy, keep people fat. The money's come in, people don't want to lose that money, and so they have to play the game, the American game.
And there is a distinction between what Iran wants in that area. I mean, even Teddy was saying no one really knows what Iran wants. No one really knows what Iran's ultimate goal is.
Because they are wafting something under people's noses.
Well, he said what he said. He said the ballistic missiles were, yes.
He goes, they are, and for now, that is what they are going to do. Just waft it under people's noses.
Well, no, he said they didn't want anyone hurt. And then he said, for now.
For now. Yeah. It's the way he said it. Oh, my God. He's got such a way with words, my dad.
I mean, if
my dad to run the Middle East, please.
Yes, absolutely. And the weirdest thing about the whole Middle East is if you could remove the intensity of the politics, the hate, the resentment, the trauma, the genuine trauma, there is so much humor in the way and self-awareness, weirdly,
and resilience
in all cultures out there, in all religions.
They've seen it all.
They've seen everything.
They've all seen it all.
So when you get a really sort of rational, reasonable kind of Israeli who sees what's going on in Gaza for what it is, and you put them alongside an Arab who sees the importance of Israel,
very well.
They talk well. They understand. They have a shared vision. It's such a shame that this is all being skewed really by Netanyahu. So. And it's unfortunately it's not just Netanyahu. Let's not fall into the trap of thinking it is just him. He's managed to fan the flames.
He's very controlled by some very unpleasant people himself.
But I would say to those of you who say you're right, of course, World War III is a hashtag trends. It makes people click. It makes people look. We've put it in the title, not for that reason, but really to say, look, it is not imminent, but there are all sorts of obviously things are tricky.
But the world right across the board, I mean, it's fragile all the time. We know that. You know, we could look to North Korea. We can look to. Oh, morning, darling. You know, at any moment you could just spin yourself round, couldn't you, in the world, and there's going to be a problem, like you always say, isn't it? Often it's a proxy war, a little argument somewhere that blows up somewhere else. So there's probably so many of these kinds of things going on every day that we never know anything about.
And just finally,
we can only live in the day.
Finally, on all of this, what I would say is I would actually say to all of you, take comfort from the way in which Iran have responded. Because what Iran have done is they've kind of said, look, calm it, stop it. It might put pressure on Israel to actually, you know, hasten the ceasefire, because Israel, once again, have been kind of held at arm's length a little bit, have been held.
Sorry, carry on.
Israel have been held at arm's length a little bit by America once again. So in that act, you know, Israel are kind of a little bit kind of on the back foot. So I would actually take some comfort from it, because it's not the kind of mass hysteria that could have unfolded. So that's just kind of what I want to say, because I know it's hard. You look at these headlines, you see these things, constant, incessant sort of news coming through. Israel have to say they're going to respond. And you're even going to hear today them saying we are going to respond, but they're not going to respond. Iran, MeTube has come out of this looking like the sensible one. Well, interestingly, by contrast, they kind of have, because I think you only have to look at Israel's irrational, rampant assault on Gaza without any kind of calm consideration for what the end game is. And, you know, it's interesting. We've been seeing a number of articles coming out of the Middle East where it is about Iran taking it slow and steady, and Israel like to create a kind of tailspin of kind of drama and hysteria. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, but do not worry imminently. Okay, AI teachers in the class. Should we play his thing first? Do you want me to play it as a lead? Okay, this is about potentially your kids being taught by robots.
This is the start of schools with no teachers. A private school in Texas started to use AI to teach their students instead of teachers. The students are working one-on-one with AI, and it instantly starts to understand what the students need and can teach them at the correct pace. They even have historical figures teaching them about their own history.
We believe that education should adapt to every student's unique needs and interests.
And these kids are liking it way better than traditional school because they feel like they're actually learning.
Explains a detailed explanation of why the correct answer is correct, not just saying, oh, here's your correct answer. You can answer the question this way next time.
Share this with a teacher near you.
Oh my God, this is the most seductive thing ever.
Is he AI?
He's lovely, isn't it?
Whoa.
It's the most seductive thing ever, this. Because and I know Mark's going to disagree with me, and he's probably going to convince me.
No.
Probably. No, you probably are, because my instant reaction to this was, wow. The amount of times over the years with our kids when they've gone to school and they bring home like a shitty little piece of paper with a half explained something, and the kid will come home and go, yeah, they were just talking in the class. I didn't really know what the teacher was saying, and I didn't really want to ask because I felt stupid. And then the teacher, da-da-da. Then you think about how often we talk about, God, isn't it a shame? You know, obviously school was invented all those years ago to build an army, to send them to factories, to get the workforce, you know, and we're still with that model. We put them through a sausage machine and they're all supposed to come out with this grade and that grade. And God, wouldn't it be amazing if we could have education tailored more? You know, we talk about neurodiversity, but every single brain is diverse. It's not the label of being neurodiverse. So wouldn't that be incredible? So when I saw this morning, I was like, what? Oh God, what? No teachers. Woo. And then I was like, what? So it starts to pick up what you didn't understand in the class, where you might be losing interest, how to bring your interest back, how to explain why you were wrong. I went, what poor teacher with 35 pupils in the class, harassed with what's it called? Not schedule. What's it called when you have the thing for the way you've got to teach everything? Not the timetable, but the
syllabus.
The syllabus, a curriculum that we've spoken to many teachers, they despise with certain books because they're the easiest books to. You go, wow, that does sound rather lovely.
I'm so surprised at you.
What? Even though I've put my stall out like that?
Yeah, because you're Because everything you're saying is really about how to fix what's a sort of systemic structural problem with the teaching
But
industry.
because you know why? Because I have no hope. That's why.
Right.
Because I think time after time, successive governments come in and say, education, and it's all going on education. And what do we hear now? We hear it's in a worse state than ever. Teachers are exhausted. They're not listened to. They're overwhelmed. So many kids now are like awry and just like spliff and vape, and so I suppose I'm just all the time these stories, and I feel a bit hopeless about our education system.
Well, you're going to be surprised.
But like you say, it's a dangerous.
Well, no. I think you're going to be surprised because I mean, I think you showed me this. You said that. Okay, what do I have a problem with? My problem with this little film that they showed us is the fact that they've used AI to recreate Martin Luther King saying something. I think that gets into the dangers of deep fakery, and I think you could end up having very easily, with the best intentions,
Mind control.
with the best intentions behind it, you'll have a bunch of children, and I can easily see this conversation happening because I've seen it happen in other areas which aren't AI, where they go, but when Martin Luther King said, and you're like, well, no, Martin Luther King didn't say that. You were taught in an AI simulator with the head of Martin Luther. People will get confused as to what's real and what isn't real. You could argue that all kids, we all do it as adults and we don't question it. Everyone goes, what is it? I don't know. Google it. If you're Googling something, you're engaging with AI. It's happening. You know, that it may not be the AI that we think of robots steering us, but it is steering us. You do a search, it takes you a certain way.
And like you do a search and then it picks up what you've searched before, so it feeds you back what you want to know.
Exactly. And then what you find, the destination you get to of the information has all been inputted by someone else of a certain position.
That's the same with the teacher.
No, I agree.
Information has been inputted to them by the government and wants them to stick really
No, I agree. And I
strictly
think this is
to
why you're going to be surprised, because at
suffocate
first
syllabus.
I had a really angry response to this. I was like, no, this is the thin end of the wedge. This is that awful, this is the beginning of the end. What about generative AI? If it starts to think for itself, how can we trust that it's not going to sort of steer us in a certain direction? And because things like this always go with mission creep, look at social media, look at everything, we'll find ourselves in 10 years at a point that we couldn't have ever even really imagined.
Yeah.
Where,
like anything that seems that good, what is the cost? And that's the problem.
Well, Heather Draper, it could lead to unemployment of qualified teachers. But there is a problem in the classroom. And what made me laugh in it was the moment where we've all done it as kids. And when I used to teach, you get asked it, but sir, miss, why did you do it? What does this mean? And teachers don't have the answer to everything.
No, but I don't think we should. I don't think we lose teachers. I think we have exactly the same amount of teachers, but the teacher will present the lesson,
supervises
and
the
then
AI.
you've got, like, you know how people with additional needs, children with additional needs, have an extra teacher with them. It's like that.
I think
it's support.
Yeah, I think as long as the
support
AI,
the teacher, but like you say, eventually there'll be no teacher.
Well, and also you get bad teachers. And I think, can you get bad AI? I mean, I think if you could, I suppose what I'm seeing now is you have a teacher at the front of the class and you have a system of computers, all of which has AI technology. The AI technology, as you rightly say, is catering for the individual needs. I think in essence, that's a brilliant idea. It's like, but we used to do it.
It's the way exams are going to go eventually.
But we used to do that in our maths class, our maths lessons. I don't know why they never did this. We used to have a math system where there was do you remember filing cabinets? You'd have filing cabinets and every child in that class was operating at a different level. They moved through the worksheets, and so you put your own work back in. It was like a sort of it was like a hard drive, the filing cabinets. And the teacher would come round, and the teacher's skill was being able to adjust to the needs and requirements of every different. So every kid was working
AI
at a different.
would be doing that.
Yeah, the AI, but it can be done without AI. What do you think, guys? Do you think it? So I originally thought bad, and then I kind of thought, no.
But I think
Good.
it's, I mean, that school, I don't know if it's true, it says there are no teachers. That worries me.
That's frightening.
I think you need a teacher. But like you say, I mean, imagine, look at all the governments around the world at the moment. What a way to brainwash malleable brains.
Absolutely.
Really young.
What if you could hack
and
into it?
skew everything. So it's scary as fuck.
Heather Draper says, what if the teacher and the AI do not agree with something?
Fight.
Or what if the AI starts to malfunction? And then, of course, you've got the interaction with the teacher.
It's a good conversation, though, because tell you what,
no, you're right. It is.
This is what is going to happen.
Vic,
there's already one school. If there is one school, look at governments. They don't want to spend any more money on schools. They don't want to spend any money. This is going to be a cheap way for them to educate educate the population.
Vic makes a good point. It could turn social media on its head, as we will be questioning whether what we see is authentic.
Yeah, but it's AI that's going to tell you.
Yeah, but
and
you
who's
could-
fed the information into that robot?
Yeah, but you could argue that most kids aren't learning virtually nothing at school because of too many people in the classes, COVID, a sort of a perception that there's an irrelevance between algebra and the real world, all this kind of stuff. And yet all kids are getting all their information through the AI algorithms of their social media. It's not like this is already happening. It's just happening outside the classroom. So why wouldn't we want to put it in the classroom? It's about who programs it. It's about who decides what the information is. It's about the coding, it's about the programming, and it's about the supervision. And I think it has to be AI that doesn't evolve. Otherwise it could start, I don't know, hijacking children's minds.
It will happen though.
Yeah, no. Well, I think you're right. I don't think it's a clear-cut sort of no. Okay, let's talk about train etiquette, guys.
So this is a story.
Oh,
Okay.
hang on. That's funny. Catherine McLaughlin. Discipline may be an issue too. I mean, yeah, what if you start
That's
to
why you've got to
argue
have a
with your
teacher in the
AI?
class. You've got to have a teacher in the class.
What if they start punching the AI and stuff? At least AI can't make you stand in the corridor. Train passenger etiquette.
So this is a woman who enraged people. I love how we all get enraged these days because she put her bare feet on the seat.
That would drive
opposite.
me mad.
That is. Now, I have on occasion wanted desperately to do that.
You've done it?
But not my bare feet. No, I always put something on there.
Well, by the time I sucked your toe
No,
on
right,
my
listen,
first
he's
class
going off
journey
one.
to-
So listen to this. What is wrong with you? It's almost constant these
What?
days.
there was a delayed response.
No. So I have on occasion had bare feet. I wanted to ask you what I thought of this, but never put them on the seat, but put my coat or my cardigan or something or my bag and then put my bare feet on them. But to tell you the truth, I've still felt really like bad for
If
doing
I
that.
saw you doing that, I'd think, what an absolutely outrageous woman.
Would you, even though I've put it? See, that's what I thought.
Absolutely.
There's going to be some fucker on this train somewhere that thinks that's disgusting. I put my bare. Why is everyone so hung up about feet?
It's about space.
No.
Sitting
No,
there
hang
with
on a
your
minute.
feet up
Hang on a minute.
chair.
Of course, you wouldn't do that if there's people standing. But a fairly empty train, you've got a very long journey. You're tired. You put your feet up. Of course, you wouldn't do it if somebody else needs their bloody.
No. But
So
I'm being really honest, and
Being really stupid.
I'm not being stupid. I'm getting on the train, and I see you with your feet on a bag on an empty train, and I go, well, she's quite nice, but what's she doing with her feet? I quite like her toes. No, I wouldn't like it. It's wrong. Feet
Yeah, well,
out.
this is it. I have felt it's wrong, but I've also felt it's so ridiculous. Hands are out. What's the difference? As long as your feet aren't dirty, of course. You've got clean feet. What the fuck is the difference?
Sorry, I'm trying to make sense of this. Laura Lou says, like Ant McPartlin spitting on the restaurant floor.
Oh,
Did he?
I cannot bear any spitting
Oh,
anywhere.
spitting is bad. I find, so what? There are certain things on trains that I find
hate
unforgivable.
cooked. I hate it when somebody gets on with cooked, like a burger and chips, chicken and. Oh God, you're so
Oh
cold.
my God.
Feel your hand. Put it somewhere warm.
Okay.
God. I can't bear that. Chicken and chips. Or smell of somebody else's fried food.
I was on a
makes me
train the
sick.
other day. Someone was eating a bag of crisps. It was taking so, they were
Oh.
eating each mouthful, took so much, and they were digging around. And I felt like taking the bag saying, do you want to know how you eat a bag of crisps? One handful, one mouthful.
It just
Get it over
makes
with.
your skin crawl.
Something else that annoys me, on the phone. Someone was on the phone, not just on the phone.
Long and detailed business chat.
Not just that,
really
but
boring.
they put the mic on open.
Oh yeah.
It's like, guys, put it to your head. I mean, I have an intolerance of anyone who does open talk back to, conversations on their phones. I find it so antisocial. It's like I'm going to hijack everyone with my conversation.
What do they think about feet?
My mum hates people eating on the train, says Hammer Lee shoots.
What about barefoot? If you put it on a coat.
Some people's feet are horrendous. Yeah, I agree. Nad's feet in your face, every man's dream train journey, says Nora
What you mean?
Doyle.
You could activate perverts?
Of course you could.
Oh God.
Let's have a look. I have.
Cute.
In some religions, feet are considered differently, says
Yes,
Trina
that's
Cotton.
true.
In what way?
Especially the soles of the feet, so it begins salt.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly in
Oh, hang on. Where
Middle
was that
East,
one?
it's
I
like
just saw
that.
Sarah
Don't
D.
show someone your foot.
Arses sit on those seats, so that's a wrong. What's so wrong with the foot? There's bound to be someone with a dirty arse.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I
they've
see.
always got, well,
They have
a
got
bare
pants
arse
on,
on
haven't
a
they?
seat, I would have a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. God. As long as you don't ask me to massage them, it's all good, says Dawny Harvey. James Flanagan, sorry, Nadia, but I would call the police. Too funny.
Call the police.
Too funny. Okay, final story of the day is train passengers' bare feet. This is interesting. I never force my son to say please and thank you. It's insincere. Again, with this one, Nadia suggested this, and I think I've got a strong feeling about this. Of course, you should tell your children to say please and thank you, and say sorry. But should you?
I said to Mark,
Oh, cool.
this is going to get. Sorry, we're just boiling the cat.
That's right.
That's
That's
all right, Tom. This is going to get people, our lot, some of them, so angry.
So let me just find the story. Hang on.
Yeah.
This is a woman who says, "Welcome back. This week, parent mentor, the mama one knew she always wanted." She says, "From the very start, I've always wanted to be really conscious in my parenting decisions. I was a lone parent, being older with more life experience, I could be more reflective about how and why people do things. If Freddie, as a toddler, pushed over another child at the playground, I could sort the situation out quickly." By modelling the behaviour I wanted Freddie to emulate. I'd step in and say to the other child, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my darling. Did you get pushed over? That must have made you feel very sad. Let me help you up." Freddie would then watch my example and learn acceptable behaviour in that situation, instead of being forced to give an insincere apology.
We've talked about this on here before, haven't we, guys? I've said I hate an insincere apology, and we were very much brought up, in that old-fashioned
Say
stay
sorry
upstairs, and you're not coming down until you say sorry, and sorry, that sorry's not good enough, and sorry, and that's why I'm utterly intolerant of any empty sorry. Oh my God, it makes me cringe. It makes me just like, So I never, ever, ever say sorry unless I really feel it. I said to Mark this morning, if I ever say sorry to someone, they've got to know I really mean
But you're
it.
not a toddler. Can I say
But what she's saying here is that she feels you don't really teach empathy, you just teach a word.
I agree. And I think the amount of times I've been in playgrounds with my girls, and you see someone say to their child to say sorry.
Sorry.
No,
Say
but you
sorry.
see the toddler looks like this, like doesn't feel any connection to the apology.
Say sorry. Go on. Say sorry. Come on.
Sorry. And then
they
usually go off and push them off the bloody slide.
Yeah. Or like sorry or sorry. Like my mom used to go, no, that's not good enough. That's not real. Sorry. So for me, it's become like the most fake thing. And I actually said to you this morning, I wonder if that's my problem, why I always have to tell people the truth. I'm like, if I don't like
we almost
someone,
had an argument before. I was going,
pretend.
you know what? Sometimes I think it would be quite nice for some of those around you to just, even if it's a lie, just say sorry.
But it's like, if I say a sorry that I don't really mean, I said to
Hell
Mark,
hath no fury.
No. I said to him, okay, if you want me to sometimes say sorry when I don't mean it, know that when I say it, I'm actually saying shut up and go away, because that's what that kind of sorry means.
Wow. Okay. Helen makes a good point. Was it Helen?
I'd love to hear what you think.
No, you make a very good point. I think it was Helen. Sorry if it wasn't. Yeah, no, sorry is totally different to please and thank you.
Yeah.
And this article does have in the headline that it's about please and thank you, and then she talks about saying sorry. I think
But
you're
I
right.
do think there's something in it though, Helen, like rather than say please. Whereas if you are incredibly polite in front of your children will become incredibly polite. I really believe that. And like, but sort of really like shoving it into like a 2-year, say please, say thank you. And sometimes you see people do it when the kid is actually in a totally different place, because time and space is so different for a little one, isn't it?
Oh, look, this is
so
interesting.
I think if you say, like lots of people say please, what don't they, when they give their child something? So like with a really.
If I was a toddler, I'd want to punch that person in the face. Say please.
But when I see people, they say please.
Well,
Say
okay,
please.
well, let's ask the person
What is
getting the please or the sorry. Do they feel, when I've seen a child told to say please to me, I look at that child thinking, you hate me right now because your mother has told you to say please, or so you absolutely hate me. And the child, because I have a fear of toddlers, looks at you in that way. Don't they? Like, I'm going to smear my bogey all over your trousers.
I just think, again, it's the voice. I think
that's really interesting.
I think often you hear people snapping at their child, say please, they think, oh, you're going to say thank you. Like, are you going to? And you say it in a nice way, then that child feels it's like a nice thing to do. It's an empathetic.
Yeah.
Because she says, this woman says she doesn't believe children really know empathy until they're 7.
Well, I think there's
And
a
so
bit
you
of
have to
both.
start teaching them before then what empathy is by your tone and by your.
I agree with that, and
I do.
this is really interesting. Marion, UK children's hair expert. I like your descriptive handle. About 2 out of 10 children say thank you when they get a sticker after haircut. Parents don't say it either. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
I almost bend over myself to say thank you, and I think you're right, Nadia. I think what this woman says, which is important. I think if you just use the words please, thank you, and sorry as kind of social band-aids, just to get you in and out of a scenario, to tick the box. And I think that's what you're talking about. And I totally agree. I remember someone when I was younger would say things like, I love you. And it never meant anything because it was just being said as a fix and as a band-aid. So sorries, please, and thank yous as just, we've ticked the box. You've said thank you. You're not going to be judged as impolite. I think that's wrong.
Whereas what I want is, I don't really necessarily want everyone to be impressed with my child because they said automatically, please thank you. I want my child to be warm, and I want them to feel the warmth of being nice to somebody else and then somebody meeting you back with that. And I think that's kind of what she means. And actually, when you think about it, that's kind of what we did, didn't we?
It is kind of what we did. I mean,
we never said, say please.
No,
say please.
No. I mean, I'm trying to think. When there was
go, oh, look, did you say please? Because you know it makes it so nice when you say please.
I mean, I tried to think of an example of like where, say, Kiki was, I remember her being pushed off the monkey bars. And the mother of the other child didn't say to this child, say sorry. So I went over, I went straight into their face and said, do you think there's an apology due here? Do you think I need to say sorry to my child? And he looked at me cross-eyed and didn't really know what the hell I was talking about. I said, say sorry. I think it's all right to tell other kids to say sorry if they've been nasty.
I think, what would I say? I think you can go over and say, oh, you might not have seen there, but she actually really hurt herself. So, yeah. And then see if they said, what she's talking about, this woman, is actually quite important. Teaching smaller human beings to care about human beings.
Or I did consider lifting the boy up, saying, oh, hang on the monkey bars and then leaving him. There you go. You're not so smart now, are you? Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, guys. Well, look, that was fun. Have a lovely rest of the day today.
I'm actually going to the hospital soon to see Hannah. Oh, we've got a scary day today, but I'll let you know more about that later on. So do a little prayer for Hannah today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, guys, lots of love. And Ellery, you've gifted 5 memberships. That's very kind of you, Ellery.
That's really kind.
Very sweet of you. Thank you so much. So 5 of you will suddenly be members. Go and check out our live No Name Sunday show yesterday, where I can't even begin to tell you what you'll see in the vlog, what happened after the nettle soup. It was very, very funny. And just spare a thought for that toddler that's still dangling on the monkey bars that I put up there. So don't ever cross my kids. Guys,